the Axeon Second Zero. Let's check it out. That's phenomenal. Guys, today we're going to take a look at something that is really unique. And there's a lot of stuff that, you know, innovation and people are trying to produce really cool products for the shooting industry. But this is something that has a huge history behind it, but it's also something that works. And this is the Axeon Second Zero. It's just a prism lens. And you sight in your rifle at 100 yards, you're on target, you take this lens and drop it down, and now you are zeroed at 330 yards, or they have another one that'll sight in for 550 yards. It actually changes the point of your reticle through the prism to line it up in the precise location you need. It is a super fast, very easy way to get on target. And guys, what's really cool is it works for your standard red dot. Now guys, while there is a lot that goes behind the technology, it's a very simple system to use. You sight your scope in at 100 yards. Once you engage your second zero lens, and it's just a prism system, it's going to change the MOA. This one is actually for 330 yards. So now my zero is at 330 yards, and it's dead on. Again, I have my red dot sighted in at 100 yards. Engage second zero, and now I'm at 330 yards or 550 yards if I use that lens. Then when we have the second zero with the bell mount, we just engage our lens and we're at the distance, whether it's 330 or 530. When we want to go back to 100 yard zero, flip it back and you're ready to go. So if you want to get that quick shot and it's out to distance, you just don't have to think about it. Now, if you have this scope sighted in at 200 and you bring up the lever, now you're at 430 yards. So wherever you have it zeroed, you're just adding 4.3 MOA. So it doesn't really matter where you have it sighted in. You're gonna let the prism do its magic. John Baker over at TACCOM is one of the inventors of this system and developed the prism system with the Charlie Tarak, which has been effective out to 5,000 yards. I mean, it is an incredible system. But on the front is the Charlie Tarak that mounts onto your scope, and this prism system just adds hundreds of MOA to your scope. And this allows for those really long-range shots. Guys, especially for a red dot, I think this is incredible. I mean, you can bring that 100 yard zero, run it up to 330 yards, and, you know, with just a flip. And you have confidence knowing that you're sighted in. And of course, you know, with your regular scopes, it works well. I mean, 3-gun, hunters, self-defense, obviously, if you want to get out to more distance, police and military applications. There are just so many ways to be able to utilize this system. Now, one huge advantage of the Second Zero are for guys who just don't have access to a range over 100 yards. Most guys sight in their rifles at 100 yards. some at 200. But you're not going to typically have a range out to 300 yards. And then you've also got the capability of going out to 530 yards. So this is going to give you ability to be able to get out without having to do all the sighting in, finding out where you're shooting. The ranges are limited, and this is definitely an advantage for that. This is a Prism system lens, and of course this particular mount is the rail mount, and it's made of a really high grade aluminum, and it's very well done. I mean, the piece is solid. It has your Picatinny rail on the bottom, has a quick detach mount, and this goes right onto your Picatinny rail. Really designed more for your AR-15 style type rifle, which we have the bell mount, obviously, that fits directly to the scope. And there are a number of different sizes of these. This is the 56mm. So you have your Prism lens right here, your second zero lens. This has a rubber flange that goes inside, so it allows for it to be very stable and it stays on the scope. You have these two levers on either side, and this releases the spring, which brings it back. And when it's on the scope, it'll come back really quickly. And then you can use this for your 100-yard zero and then bring this down for the desired increase in MOA. It's a really heavy-duty polymer, very similar to what they use for most of your pistol frames. So it's a well-built piece, but it's a little bit more lightweight. When you get into the rail mounts, they are a hard anodized aluminum and really fits well with your scope. I mean, it's the same kind of quality. The rail mount weighs 6.8 ounces. The bell mount weighs 4.8 ounces. So gives you a little bit of a difference, but yet they're both really sturdy. These do come also in a number of different sizes. This is, of course, for the 24 by 56. And they do make some smaller ones, especially when it gets into red dots. You want to have something a little smaller on your rifle. Here you can see they are marked the 330 yards, and of course this is the 24 to 56mm lens, and it changes at 4.3 MOA. And then we have the 530 yards, and again 24 to 56, and this changes at 11.5 MOA. And so the science behind this is solid, and this is something you're not going to see, because these guys are the ones that actually designed the Prism systems. This is a patent-pending design. To bring the lens down, you press this lever and you bring it forward. And this gets it out of the way of your objective lens. And then when you're ready to deploy, you just pull up. So it makes it really quick to get it into action. This does not change your magnification. It doesn't distort the image. It's crystal clear. In fact, when you engage it, you notice zero change. And so it's the prism inside that actually bends the light to allow for that reticle to move according to this. But you're still at 100 yards on your zero, but this brings the point of impact to 330 yards. And also, no battery, no electronics. So it's pretty foolproof. Guys, it is the fastest way to compensate for bullet drop, especially for extended ranges. Now, it doesn't really matter where you add your second zero. We can bring it, of course, close, but we can also bring it out. Again, distance does not matter, or we can put it in a completely different direction. It really doesn't matter, and so this makes it very versatile. If I want to, I can actually add another one to stack these, and then it just increases the MOA. They do fold down. They are a little large this way, but if you get some of the smaller ones, especially the 24mm, it's going to really bring that package down quite a bit. Now again, the second zero does come in a number of different configurations and lens sizes. You can go to the Axeon Optics website and check out all the different features. And then the bell house mount as well, there are different sizes for that. And then to find the right one for you, again, it's the best way to do it. Now, one of the things about this though is the price. And guys, this is a really current technology. I mean, this is very effective. And these are very well constructed. So I was really wondering about the price, and I was pleasantly surprised. The second zero rail mount and the bell mount run $53.99 MSRP on the Axeon Optics website, and I did see it actually in some places for even less. So I think this is a really viable way to increase your range. And again, guys, if your range may only be 100 yards, and this way you can bring this in and know that you'll be on at those 300 to 500 yard ranges. hopefully coming up we'll be able to get the 530 out to the range and be able to do some testing. You know, again, our range was closed, so we just really couldn't get out and do it. But I'll tell you what, this system works. And how you apply it, you know, obviously that's up to you. Now, as far as pros and cons, definitely the pros we've talked about. I mean, it's just a great way to be able to instantly get your shots out to distance. As far as cons go, you know, it's a little bit larger, especially the bigger ones, a little bit larger on your Picatinny rail, and it is another piece on the rail. Of course, with the bell mount, it just kind of fits onto the scope. That is an added piece, but for the advantage, you know, it may be for you. I think it's really worth it for certain applications. Now, I may not put this on a self-defense, home defense rifle, obviously, but for something that I really want to have some range and to be able to get out there, I think this is an excellent way to go. You know, especially for hunters, for three-gunners, you know, even for law enforcement that may have some possibility to get some shots out there. You don't have to sight this in once your scope's ready. Just throw it on, you can go with it, and then it's easily removable. And guys, I want to thank Axeon Optics for sending these and for their sponsorship to make this video possible. This was just a lot of fun, very enlightening to some of the technology that's out there, to be able to make us all better shooters. And guys, I'll tell you what, I love new technology, and this is definitely something that will improve your hit capabilities. These are actually prototypes, and so we're going to be sending these back. But hopefully they'll be sending us some of the regular production models, because we're really wanting to test out the 530 yards and maybe combine a couple to see what that does. Now, you may have a lot of questions about how this works and a little more of the technical details. Go to axeonoptics.com and check it out, find out which one's right for you. But I'll tell you what, guys, it's very simple, very easy. I really want to try out the smaller objective just to see, you know, especially with a red dot like this, but it just works, and it gets those zeros out. And I'll tell you, with red dots, this is really phenomenal. But you know, if you can only sight your rifle in, again, at 100 yards, that's your range. This is going to give you that 330 yards or 530 yard capability that you just wouldn't have otherwise. Guessing at holdover and trying to figure out where you need to be is chancy at best. So this will give you a much more sure shot on your target. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The Axeon Second Zero. The Axeon Second Zero. Dang it. And guys, what's really cool is it works for your... Whereas the bell mount, which we have... crap. Go with... wait a minute. Wait a freaking minute.
What's wrong?
Well, no wonder I'm not hitting it. This is 530 yards. I was getting ready to say, this is bull crap.